we go. All right, for today, I want to start with, this stuff is all pretty easy, but there's some basics that you have to have down. If you don't know whether to move left or right, or whether to move the function up or down, or whether when you put something to the zero power, whether it's 0 or whether it's 1, putting something to a negative power, all these little things, they're all easy. Like a negative power just flips stuff upside down. Put something to the 0 power, you get 1. Generally, exponential growth is going up and decay is going down. All right, but if there's any of these that you don't have down, it's going to stop you at some point. So I'm going to just give you a little quiz of all the little things you're supposed to know. So would you please number from 1 to 7? And I'm going to see if you know the top 7 things that you're supposed to know at this point, okay, about exponentials. All right, number 1, I want you to, I'm not going to call it graph, I'm going to call it, I'd like you to sketch an exponential growth. So just make an XY axis and just sketch what it looks like. What does the parent graph look like? And if you're like, I have no idea, then I guess you get number 1 wrong, and it's okay. Right now, it's okay, because this test is not counting as a, summative test, but you need to know this for the test. Just what does the exponential growth graph look like? And then let's do the same exact thing, but sketch exponential decay. What moves does this have? So like, oh, I think it's going to go left 5, and I think it's going to go up 3. That kind of move. All right. Next one, number 4. What is 5 to the negative 1 power? Problem number 5. What is 5 to the 0 power? Number 6 is, what's this? What's that number in front of the exponential? And if you don't know, I'll tell you in a minute. The last one, number 7, make 3 points that would be on y equals 2 to the x. So like, I'll get you started. You can put in 0, and you figure out, when you put in x is 0, figure out what y is, and then you put a number there. So one of the points is 0 comma something. So make 3 points like that. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute, give you a chance to answer these. So let's get this started again. Sketch exponential growth. So how many of you knew that, one second, how many of you knew that the exponential growth looked like this? Put your virtual hand up if you, or real hand up if you had that right. Okay, awesome. And then how about exponential decay? I'm going to make that a red line. That's exponential decay. Now, they both go through this same point right here. That spot is 0, comma 1. Why? Because when you put in 0 as an exponent, it's equal to 1. That tells you what number 5's answer is. Because see, you put a 0 exponent in, you get 1. I'm curious, how many of you had number 5 right? Seeing most hands up on that one. Number 5 was 1. Okay, good. I got the last couple hands. Good. So, number 3, I skipped over. What were the moves there? Remember that this is inside, this is outside. That's low, this is high. Horizontal, inside. So I know you got to go through like a 3-step process. First you go, is that inside or outside? Okay, that 3, that was inside. Once it's inside, you go horizontal inside, which means left or right. And then you got to decide between left or right. And that's tricky. It feels like it should be going to the right, so it's left. It's the opposite of what you would think. That's left 3. Raise your hand if you knew that was left 3. Okay, good. And then the last thing is this 5 here. That's much easier. It's down 5. Okay, number 4. When you have a negative 1 power, it flips it. It turns from 5 to 1/5. If it had been a fraction, it would just flip it over. This isn't a fraction, but you can always put it over 1, so you can think of it like it being flipped. All right, on to number 6. What is that? That is the start value. And I don't think I talked about that very much, so I don't think that would have been fair to ask you at this point, but now it is fair. Now I've told you. That's the starting value. Meaning, let's say that you're going to consider a little baby turtle that you find, and it's like out on a highway, and you're like, I'm rescuing this turtle. So maybe it looks a little sick. It's not moving. Well, they're turtles, so they don't move very much. But anyway, you take it home, you raise the turtle, and you weigh it from time to time. It started off at 10 grams. Then you'd go like this, 10. And then would you agree that every turtle is eventually going to get bigger and bigger and bigger? In case you don't know this, they do grow. Okay, so then it's going to eventually double. If it's only 10 grams, that's pretty small. That's like a really, like 10 grams is like 10 aspirin weight. That's really like tiny little turtle. Okay, so it's going to double in size. And that's exponential growth when it doubles. So if it doubles, and then it doubles again, and then it doubles again, it's going to go from the weight of 10 aspirin to 20 aspirin to 40 aspirin. You get what I'm saying? It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, just like you did when you were a little baby. You doubled in size, then you doubled in size again, then you doubled in size again, then you doubled in size again. All right, so this is the start value goes in the front. This is where you put your doubling, or it could be tripling. And there's always an x in the exponent for exponentials. All right, so number 7. Number 7, you are just supposed to find a few points. So I'm going to put a 0 in, and the 0 is going to go right here. And then I have 2 to the 0. What is 2 to the 0? Say it out loud if you know it. 1. So 0, comma 1 is on my graph. All right, the next one I'm going to put in is a 1. You could have put anything you want. You could have put -1. You could have put 2. I don't care. You put anything there. I'm personally just going to do 1 at this point. I'm putting a 1 right there, and then 2 to the 1 is 2. If you put in a 1, you should have got a 2. Next, if you put in a 2, then it's 2 to the 2. You should have got a 4. If you put in -1, I don't know what you picked, so I'm just going to go through a bunch of them. If you put in -1, it's 2 to the -1, which is a half. If you had put in -2, that's like the biggest negative thing I think anybody would have gone for. That squares it, because 2 to the -2, let's talk about this. Isn't 2 to the second 4? And then doesn't this just make it flip? 1/4. So then the last point we have there is -2, comma 1/4. Now if I graphed all of these, you know what would happen? It would make an exponential. 0, comma 1, 1, comma 2, 2, comma 4, -1, comma a half, at negative 2 comma a fourth. And you connect all of those dots, you get the exponential graph. That makes sense to you guys? Okay. So, quick quiz. Say it out loud as soon as you know the answer. Ready? What kind of growth is that? Decay. If it's decay, what has to go in the parentheses? Not a negative. If it's decay, it's supposed to be a fraction in there. Like 1/2, 1/4, 1/3. That's how it gets smaller, smaller, smaller every time. You don't want the thing to double. You want the thing to like cut in half. See? That's what happens if you have decay. All right, next quick answer. 7 to the 0 power, what is it? 1. 7 to the negative 1 power, what is it? 1/7. First of all, what's 7 squared? 49. What's 7 to the negative squared then? 1/49. Does all that make sense? All right. Now you're all caught up. So now here is a typical homework question for today. Y equals 3 times 2 to the x minus 4 plus 7. Holy crap. Let me just explain it quick. Is this exponential growth or decay? That 2 right there is saying growth to me. Do you get if that had been a 1/2? It would have been decay. Okay, so this is growth. It's been moved, and wait, and its starting value is 3. So it's like maybe it's a snail that was 3 grams when you got him, and then he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Its starting amount goes there. Next, this one's been moved. What the heck is that? Say it if you know it. Which way is it moved? Right 4. Very good. And then this 7, that's saying what? Up 7. So if you had to graph that, this would be worse than anything on our test. Too hard. I'm going to make it a little more like what would actually be on one of our tests. 2 to the x plus 1 minus 4. Would you have to graph that? Yup. And I trust that all of you can graph little dots. That's easy. I trust that all of you can connect dots. Like seriously, since you were probably 4, you could say, hey, connect the dots, and you'd be like, easy. It's just making the dots. It's really all there is to this. So I'm going to give you a few numbers. I want to see if you can put them in and get the right answer. First, we're going to put in 0. Everybody put in 0, and don't just assume, oh, so 2 to the 0 is 1. No, you put a 0 where the x is. Tommy Radbach, I want you to start this. Tell me where to put the 0. Still with us, Tommy?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you put the 0 into the equation?
Into the x.
Yep. Now, catch up. Do this. What's 2 to the 0 plus 1 going to equal? What's that?
Second equal
All right, I'm going to let you follow along. I know you're with me now, but I think you're a little off track. I'll let you come back and do this in a minute. Lucifer, Seth, are you actually with us right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I marked you absent earlier. Can you tell me what was going on there?
my dog needed to go outside. I have to let him out.
Okay. All right. So remind me near the end of the hour, and if you're still here, I will change it. I'm going to go to Nick Richards. I was doing the stuff in the blue circle, Nick, and we got to 2 to the 0 plus 1. What is that?
I got -2.
No, wait. Just the part in the circle.
Oh, that's 2 1.
Which is?
It's 2.
It's 2. And then you go -4. What's 2 minus 4?
-2.
Put your hand up if you guys had 2, or -2, sorry. All right, good. Next, we're going to go to somebody in the room. Veda, can you give me another number that you would put in? Okay, let's put in a 1. Where do I put it? So I'm putting a 1 right here. And now I have 2 to the 1 plus 1. What is that? And then 4 minus 4? 1 comma 0. Alban, tell me a number I can put in. I already put in a 0. Okay, 2. So I'm putting in a 2. 2 is going in right where the x was. And walk me through it, Alban. I have 2 to the 2 plus 1. 2 to the third, which is close. I know you were thinking 2 to the third is 2 times 3, but it's not. It's 2 times 2 times 2. There you go. And now 8 minus 4? Correct. 2 comma 4. Just a putsy little mistake in there, no big deal. All right, Cameron Thompson, tell me a number we can put in. Okay, we're going to put in a 4. We put a 4 up here. Cameron, walk me through it. 2 to the 4 plus 1 is like 2 to the what? 2 to the 4 plus 1 is 2 to the 5th. So that's 2 to the 5th minus 4. Now 2 to the 5th is close to 16. 2 to the 5th is actually 32. Minus 4. Now you picked the 4, so you know, don't blame me for this getting so big. And then 32 minus 4 is 28. Do you get that 4 comma 28 would be a bit of a pain to graph? All right, so we're going to go and put in something smaller, like negative 1. Everybody, by yourself, put in negative 1. 2 to the x plus 1. And the x is negative 1. Quinn, walk me through that. Yep. And what do you get? And what's 2 to the 0? 1. 1 minus 4? There you go. Now, when you graph this thing, everybody make a quick graph of what this looks like, and I will walk around and see if you remember how to graph points. You're just graphing some dots. I'm going to pause for a second while I go check on kids. Jumping ahead to, we had already practiced in which direction these things moved and stuff. So if I just said, hey, do this one, you'd pick any numbers you wanted for x, you'd stick them in, you'd make points, and you'd graph them. And you'd recognize, oh, it looks like the exponential graph moved to the right one. When you were all done, you'd be able to tell that. All right, but let's get your homework. Everybody find your homework. I have located it right there. There's your homework. And now I'm going to cut it down in size because it's just a little bit too big. You may skip 1C. And on the next page, is there a 2C? I can't see the next page. Thank you. You can skip 2C also. That'll cut it down to be a more reasonable size. So remember, this is the parent function. They're just saying, remember guys, this is kind of what they look like. But here, what's really critical is that you find some points. And then once you graph the points, any child can graph them and then connect the dots. So let's figure out a few points. Cameron, give us a number to put in. Keep it small. Okay, let's put in 0. And when I put in 0, walk me through it, Cameron. I got 2 to the 0. There you go. 1 plus 3. So 0 comma 4, raise your hand if you had 0 comma 4. Oh, there's not too many hands. Okay. Oh, there we go. Good. Yay, 0 comma 4 is right. I know some of you were thinking 2 to the 0 is 0, but it's not. 2 to the 0 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. So that was right, 0 comma 4. All right, now let's put in another point. I encourage you to put in negative numbers now and then. Try a negative 1, everybody. It's not that bad. It's just 2 to the negative 1. Javon, do you know what 2 to the negative 1 makes? I think you're trying to add it to the 3. Just 2 to the negative 1 flips the 2. 1/2. And then you add it to the 3. 3.5. 1/2 plus 3 is 3.5. All right, moving on. Let's put in another number. Dylan Nault, pick a number, make it small. Positive 2. Everybody put in a 2. And then Dylan, walk me through that. What's the 2 squared? And then plus 3. 2 comma 7. And if you graph those 3 points and you kind of know how these look, you'll be golden. 0 comma 4. Negative 1 comma 3.5. Actually, wait, that's a little higher. And then 2 comma 7. I'm going to connect these now with a curvy line. That is not supposed to be a straight line. I know it's kind of close to straight, but it's not straight. It's a curved line. There, you graphed an exponential. All right, you're going to do 1B, and then you're going to go to the other part of the worksheet and finish it off. Remember, you're skipping 1C and 2C. And this should be one of those homework assignments you absolutely finish in class today and Dropbox it and get the credit. Some of you guys have been kind of slackerish about getting your homework done. Get this one done and in the grade book. That's all I got for you for homework for today.